Local politics is the microcosm of America where people argue, bicker, and sometimes even literally fight over insignificant issues that really have no bearing on the long-term welfare of the people. Sure, sometimes there are bigger issues like the annual budget and how it's allocated and the taxes that incur because of it, but mostly it's bloviating and posturing, mostly by people who think too highly of themselves. Hello and welcome to One Man's Opinion, where I review professional theater in New York and across Connecticut. Today I am reviewing Tracy Letts's new play, The Minutes, which originated at Steppenwolf Theater in Chicago and is currently at Studio 54 at 254 West 54th Street in New York City.
Big Cherry City Council meeting, Tuesday, October 25th. Minutes.
What happens here today will have an impact for a long time to come.
You think?
No.
Miss Johnson, nota bene.
Note well.
Note well. It's Latin. I know a little Latin because I am a dentist. You object to your own history.
History is a verb. Trust me, Big Cherry runs like a top.
When I used to cover local news for the Journal-Inquirer, the newspaper I still write feature stories for in Manchester, Connecticut, I would regularly cover town council meetings, and wow, were some of the local politicians petulant and childish. So when the lights went down at Studio 54 and I saw how the characters in the minutes introduced themselves and behaved, I knew exactly what I was going to get, and I enjoyed just about every minute of it. It's a chilling indictment of the United States' propensity for whitewashing history and the atrocities that we have historically committed in the name of heritage. Set in a city council meeting in Big Cherry, a town of indeterminate size and location, but based upon the dialogue probably somewhere in one of the Plains states, the play takes place during a closed session of the town council. Mr. Peel, played by Noah Reed, missed the previous council meeting where Mr. Carp, played by Ian Barford, unexpectedly up and quits the council. None of the other 7 council members want to talk about Mr. Carp's sudden departure, so Mr. Peel pressures the town's clerk, Ms. Johnson, played by Jessie Mueller, to divulge the minutes from the previous meeting to find out what happened. His inquisition unmasks a dark and secret past of Big Cherry that will change his life forever. Letts, who happens to play the mayor, Mayor Superba, plays fast and loose with actual law regarding town council meetings, especially with what can and cannot be discussed during a closed session of a council. There are votes that are made which can't happen during a closed discussion, primarily because it has to be on record and minutes are traditionally not recorded during private meetings. Private meetings are generally held to discuss disciplinary hearings and salary and contract negotiations. Each state has their own version of the Sunshine Law, which guarantees public access to meetings held by government agencies and documents pertaining to said government. Letts throws all this out the window in order, I presume, to avoid having to deal with the repercussions of the entire city of Big Cherry finding out about the city's big secret by being privy to this meeting. Still, the characters are what's great about the play, and the issue at hand that they debate. There's Mr. Oldfield, played by Austin Pendleton, who is so old and hard of hearing, it's a wonder why anyone keeps voting him back onto council. There's Ms. Matz, played by Sally Murphy, who brings in bags of snacks to munch on during the meeting. Mr. Assalone, or Mr. Assalone, played by Jeff Still, the stingy businessman who has his fingers dipped in more than he should. And others, all archetypes of council members that I've seen firsthand, and if any of you actually follow your local government, will find immediate connection with. They are comically drawn out and delivered with a knowing wink of the eye on Letts's part. The issue they talk about, which is really why The Minutes is such a timely and important play, surrounds a fountain that Mr. Hanratty, played by Danny McCarthy, proposes to add to the center of town that is more ADA compliant. The Fountain features a local hero who saved a young girl named Debbie from Sioux captivity and killed a bunch of Native Americans in the process. Mr. Peel, who is relatively new to the town, has no knowledge of this history of the town, but also has a certain familiarity to John Wayne movies, and I'll leave that as an Easter egg for those who haven't seen the show. Once the deception behind this history is revealed, the play takes a dramatic turn from comedy to serious drama. It's a pivot that in less capable hands, especially for a play about 90 minutes long, would fall under its own weight. But lets the seed of this turn germinate during the first half, so when it happens, it isn't anything too jarring. I think he went maybe a little too overboard with the ending, which is pretty absurd even for Letts, but the symbolism is still there and powerful nonetheless. The Minutes is a powerful reflection of some of the unfortunate truths of how some of our government agencies work and the lengths they will go to hide truth for the sake of legacy. Is it portrayed in a way that is strictly genuine? No, but Letts gets so much right otherwise that we can't help but get enwrapped by the insanity that goes on. By the way, if your local governance does have closed session meetings, by all means make sure they're doing it on the up and up. Read your local laws and state laws pertaining to closed sessions, what is permissible and what isn't regarding what can be discussed during those meetings. If they aren't abiding by those laws, be sure to report it to state law enforcement and or the local press. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you are interested in seeing the minutes, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Please show your support for my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be Manhattan Theater Club's production of How I Learned to Drive, starring Mary Louise Parker and David Morse, now on Broadway. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the theater.